Friends, I have a story for you, and it's a really good one. It ends with me finishing a marathon that I did not train for, I did not plan for, and I had almost no advance notice about. So, let me tell you how I finished a marathon with no training. Well, I'm Katie, I'm adding up Addingtons, and if you know me, you might be saying, well, Katie, I didn't know you'd gotten into running, and let me tell you what, I didn't. We live in Knoxville, Tennessee, home of the Covenant Health Knoxville Marathon, which is a fantastic event. My husband Jonathan has run the marathon, or some iteration of it, since 2018. The whole city really does it up for this event, and it's just a lot of fun. We also have 2- and 4-person relays, and the minimum age to run a leg of the marathon is 10. And we know this because last year a friend's team was down a relay member, and they called and asked if Gavrel would like to run one. So Gavrel ran the 4th leg on a team of adults at the marathon last year. John ran the full marathon. We all went out as a family and had a grand old time. This year, things were looking a little bit different. Gavrel was still interested at now 11, a few days shy of 12 on the day of the marathon, was still interested in running a relay. And John, who has been recovering with long COVID, was not back up to marathon distances in his running. And the marathon happened to fall on Declan, my second son's 10th birthday, meaning he would be old enough to run a leg of the relay the day of the relay. And so he decided that that was what he really, really wanted for his birthday. He wanted to run a leg of the marathon.
It's my birthday, and I'm running a marathon relay, and I'm just so excited that after so long watching the race, I finally get to do the race.
So John and the boys were going to run a 4-man team, but John was going to run 2 legs. That put him in at just over a half of the marathon because the legs are not completely even, which was an appropriate challenge, but doable at this stage of his recovery. Gavrel was going to run 6.5 miles. Again, a good challenge, but in line with his training. And Declan was going to run the last final 5-mile stretch. A couple days before the marathon, John starts feeling badly. This has been an ongoing battle with him in his COVID recovery. He has a known heart issue that pops up once in a while, is under the care of a doctor, but obviously long COVID is a relatively unknown phenomena at this point. Adjusting his treatment to his COVID recovery has been a roller coaster. Marathon is Sunday morning. Even Wednesday, Thursday, Friday morning, John's feeling really good. He's excited about the marathon. We're making all of our plans. Friday evening, he starts feeling poorly, and he says, all right, if I continue to feel like this, there's no way I can run both legs, and I'm not sure what to do because the boys are going to be really disappointed. And so he's going over options in his head, and I made an offhand comment. This is what I get. I made an offhand comment about, well, I can walk that far. I can walk 6 miles. And he looked at me and said, is that a serious offer? And I said, well, I'm not going to help anybody's time in this endeavor, but if it's the difference between you guys being able to finish or not, I can legitimately walk 6 miles and get from point A to point B and let you guys take the other 3 legs. Saturday morning, he woke up still not feeling well, so he said, all right, we'll go down to packet pickup and we'll sign you up, and the 4 of us will do it. And I said, okay, cool. This is really funny that I'm running a leg of the marathon. Running a leg of the marathon. It's funny because I'm not a runner. Saturday afternoon, John continued feeling worse. And Sunday morning, we all got up early. We got everybody dressed. Marathon day. And Declan is 10 years old today. Woo! All right, we are on our way to the starting line. We drove downtown, dropped Gavrel off at the starting line, and we drove down to the first relay exchange point. Say 10 years ago, I was doing a different kind of marathon. I was in labor with this child for 18 hours. So it probably seems fitting. Here's Daddy. Probably seems fitting that in honor of his 10th birthday, I am also doing a leg of this marathon. This is where things started going south. So we parked at the first relay exchange point. We stopped to use the restrooms, let the kids run around. We got our signs. We watched the starting line on the news broadcast from the car. As the front runners got close to our position, we got out of the car. We had signs. We had cowbells. We're having a grand old time. And John can barely stand up at this point without feeling pretty terrible. I should put in the caveat. He is not in any danger. He just feels really, really, really terrible. He looks at me and says, I don't know if I can run this. So he was trying to get his medication leveled out, going through all the things. And we knew that Gavrel was nearing the exchange point for the relay. And I said, okay, well, I guess let me know. Gavrel arrived, gave him a big hug. I took off walking up one of the biggest hills along the relay course. This right here is why I am doing this leg. That was my starting point. So I started right before mile 7 and took off from there. At about mile 9, John checked in with me and said, I'm still not feeling great. I'm really hoping this is going to kick in. Halfway through mile 10, John texted me and said, I can't do it. I'm not going to recover enough in time. If I try to start this leg, I'm not going to be able to finish. So at mile 10, I am imagining one of us having to explain to Declan, who wants nothing for his 10th birthday but to run the Knoxville Marathon, that we're going to have to drop out and not finish because of Dad's long COVID. And I am just imagining the disappointment on this child's face. And there's a little bit of mama bear that kicked in there. And I texted John and said, I'm going to keep going. John, who has run this course multiple times now and knows what's up ahead of me, he says, that's a really long way. And that third leg is the hardest part. And I said, well, I'm not going to do it quickly. Nobody's going to be setting any records on my team. But I'm going to make sure Deco gets to finish. I said, I need you to meet me at the next relay exchange with some ibuprofen and some more coffee. And John started doing the math. He was looking at my splits on what time I was hitting each mile marker along the marathon. And he looked at me and said, you are very, very, very consistently walking 17-minute miles. And if you can keep that up, you will get to the third checkpoint in time for Declan to finish. I kept on rolling. Let me tell you what, after the half marathon people peel out to the finish line, it gets real quiet along that course. There is a saying in the ultramarathon world that you have to just sort of have a very dark place inside of you to enjoy running those really long distances. And John laughs because it's true. I have something very similar, except that I refer to it as the Russian ballet class. If you have ever taken a professional level ballet class from a former Russian principal, you know exactly what I am talking about. It is a dark place when you think you can go absolutely no farther, and you have to anyway. And I just kept plowing through. And I found that if I just kept at the same pace that I could keep going. If I tried to stop, if I tried to slow down or speed up, then I was in trouble. But if I just continued at the same pace, I could keep going.
How you doing? You might be on YouTube. Good work.
After mile 13, where I got coffee from John, he drove the kids through and met me at I think 3 more points along the line. And
all right, Mom has just passed mile 17 here. She'll be coming up in a minute. We've been working hard to stay ahead of her, but she's walking faster than we have been.
And so I just kept plodding through.
work, good work.
And I made it. I made it right in time at mile 21 to exchange with Declan, who ran the last 5 in just over an hour. Hey guys!
Yeah, you're gonna bring it in. You gotta bring it in for us.
How fast do I have to go?
You go as fast as you can, except on the hill. You gotta make up for me today. You got it?
Yeah, ready? Alright.
Go, Deco.
Go!
How are you? Your first half.
My hips were numb. I hurt so badly for the next several days, but we all went down to the finish line, and Gavrel and Declan and I crossed the finish line together.
All right, here we are. Got Team Addington coming in at 6 hours, 16 minutes. There they are. Here's the whole relay team.
Happy birthday, man! Go find a bathroom. Daddy, I need a medal.
Now,
And I'm not gonna lie, I felt pretty hardcore. Especially because I was looking around the finish line, looking at people with their medals on, and there were a ton of half marathon finishers, and I thought to myself, I ended up just walking a little bit over 14 miles. 13.1 nothing. I just covered 14 miles. And so that is how I finished a marathon. With no training and no warning. Those mama bear instincts, man, they kicked in. The joy on Declan's face when I arrived at that relay checkpoint was entirely worth it. The pictures of me and the boys together were awesome. I particularly liked coming up to the final checkpoint and John holding the sign that said, if it was easy, I would do it. Which I normally have one of the little kids hold, but I was highly amused that John chose to hold that one that day. I'm a little bit proud of myself that I managed to pull it off, and that I managed to pull it off in good time. And again, just seeing the boys be able to finish was incredible. That was the entire goal. The goal was for the boys to be able to finish their marathon that they had set their sights on, and so I'm really glad that I was able to do that with them. I'm super proud of them for all the training and hard work that they did actually put in to get to this point. And now I am largely content to stand at the start and finish line for all of my kids' races the rest of the year. But it was a very memorable experience, and definitely a good birthday for Declan. So we had a grand old time. If you want to see more crazy family adventures, be sure to subscribe, give this video a like. You are worth your own hard work. We love you guys. We will see you again soon. Bye.